The road trip from hell is over, but the Mets brought some of the skid home with them. 9-4 loss to the Oakland A's in Queens to start their 9-game homestand. But in the words of French Montana, don't panic. Let's talk about what went wrong Tuesday night with Jake Brown, host of the Sick Mets Magic podcast. And he's probably the best stadium food reviewer in MLB history. What's up, sir? I ain't seen you in a long time. You feeling good?
Yeah, unfortunately, the Mets weren't feeling good Tuesday. I was feeling great because I was eating shrimp and grilled octopus. I was eating foods that I didn't even know existed at Citi Field, but the Mets could use a little bit more grilled octopus because their offense was bad, the pitching was bad, and that is not how you start a homestand where you're hoping to turn this thing around.
9-4 loss when Jake is eating shrimp and octopus. What happened last night? Break it down for us, Jake.
Yeah, here's what happened. The A's knew their pitcher. They knew who pitched for them all season. They know who pitched there a couple of years in Blackburn, and they read him well, and they read him right off the bat. It was 3-0, and a couple innings in, you thought the game was over. Mets had a fight. You know, they came back a little bit. But listen, Blackburn got rocked. It's been weird for Blackburn. He went up against the Angels, a divisional team that he's used to. Then he went up Colorado, and then he faced his former team. So it's like he hasn't had a start against someone outside the West Coast, you know, that he doesn't know well. So it's been weird for him. It was his first bad Mets start. He was due for one, but, you know, the Mets can't have that. They cannot have that happen against these bad teams. You saw them lose a series to the Angels. Fine. It happens. You can't lose a home series to Oakland. You can't lose a home series to the Marlins because then you got the teams that aren't losing, and that's the Padres, the Diamondbacks ahead on another West Coast trip. So they got to right this ship quick here because they're now 2 games out, and it's not looking pretty.
Rough night for Blackburn, but A's pitcher Austin Adams was on one last night. He's gone viral for mimicking Jose Iglesias OMG celebration. And then Edwin Diaz gave his thoughts on it. Jake, is that Adams being disrespectful? Is that just baseball? Give us your thought on the entire situation.
Yeah, Austin Adams is a clown. He's a loser. He's a bozo. You are a nobody. Now people know you because you're clown, piece of you-know-what behavior. You're going to call Jose Iglesias a piece of you-know-what. Hey, have you ever wrote a #1 song on the Latin charts? Have you ever wrote a song that broke the internet? No, you've done nothing. You have a career ERA over 4. You're coming off the career worst 5.71 ERA with the Diamondbacks last year. You stunk last year. You stunk most of your career. There's a reason the Mets cut your behind before the season. You aren't good. So you know, I know why he's mad. He went to Oakland, a poverty franchise, a franchise that had a fan, its own fan, have a sell sign at Citi Field on a Tuesday night. You have your own fan base traveling on the road with a sign to sell your team. So that's why you're mad, because you went to a team that's in last place that had the Family Guy meme, the Family Guy video on opening day. Here's the Mets' first season. Here's the first pitch. The season is over. Well, that's life in Oakland. Your season's over on the first pitch. So how about you shut the heck up? Pitch, you could show your celebration, you could be excited, but to go OMG, how about you? This is what teams do to you, Austin Adams. They say, goodbye, you stink, we don't want you. So get over it. It's part of baseball. You make millions of dollars. The Mets got rid of you. You're sorry ass, and I'm glad they did, because that's not a personality I want on the team. I'd like to see you write OMG. I'd like to see you write any kind of hit single. Write a song about trashing beer cans in Oakland. Write a song about your poverty franchise in Oakland. How about you do that, Austin Adams, you loser? Sorry.
Well, after that, you got me saying OMG. I guess it's time to move on to the next one. And Austin Adams, the comment section is open if you want to reply, but I don't know if you want any smoke after that. Jake's on one right now. So, Jake, let's move Woosaw first and foremost. Let's Woosaw. Now let's bring it on to the next thing. The Mets played their worst series in Seattle. They got outscored 22-1. Then they lost to the 9-4, soon-to-be Sacramento A's. That's 4 straight losses. Are you hitting the panic button or not?
I got to see how the rest of this homestand plays out. I am hitting the panic button a little bit because this offense has, you know, fell by the wayside. In the words of Bradley Cooper in A Star is Born, the Mets haven't had many stars born in this lineup. They're falling by the wayside, and they got to turn this around. And now J.D. Martinez gets hurt. Mark Vientos is playing a little banged up. Pete Alonso is unwatchable at this point. Pete Alonso will not be a Met next season at this rate. I mean, he needs a miracle 6 weeks for the Mets to consider signing him. It's the New York Lindors and Jesse Winker. Can you hit a home run? Can you get a big hit for this damn team? The Mets traded for you hoping you can do something, and he's done nothing. So I'm panicking a little bit because the Padres and Diamondbacks almost look unattainable right now. And if the Braves right the ship, which they usually do, it might be over. I still think this pitching staff is good enough. Starling Marte will be back over the weekend. I think they turn this thing around, but it's got to start Wednesday. This is a must-win series, and a must-win series against the Marlins. You got to win these home games. There's a lot of tough ones coming up. In September, the schedule is not easy for the Mets.
You said you weren't going to hit the panic button, but I heard a lot of panic in your voice. So which leads me to my next question. They stand 2 games behind the Braves for that third wild card spot. Yes or no? And why, of course? Will the Mets beat out the Braves for the 6th and final playoff spot?
Yeah, positive Peter. Maybe I just want the Mets to shove it in Austin Adams, Ringley Barnum, Bailey Circus face. How about you clean that beard, trim it down a little bit, you bum. I think they're going to make it. I just think Starling Marte's coming back will be huge. I think Daniel Nunez and Sean Reed Foley coming back will be huge. The Mets bullpen will be fully set. The rotation is set. And Christian Scott, maybe they get him back in September. I don't know. I think this team has come around, and they're in a dry spell right now, but I think they're due to turn it back around. Baseball's a game of streaks. You have cold streaks, you have hot streaks. The Mets were in an incredible hot streak, and they've been in a cold streak in August. I just think they're going to right this ship, and honestly, I think this Austin Adams thing becomes a rallying cry for the Mets. We know our guy Sal Licata in 2022 became the rallying cry for the Braves to win the division over the Mets. Another week we mentioned Sal. Sal's getting another bald man, getting a lot of airtime here. We're going to say Austin Adams will be the turning point. Yeah, you saw Edwin Diaz's comments about it. He was not happy. Not that they could throw at Austin Adams, but maybe they throw at Brent Rooker or they throw at one of these guys. This is their rallying cry now. They can't have anyone coming in here, especially a last place team, and showing them up like that. That's embarrassing for the Mets. It's embarrassing for the A's, but it's embarrassing for a Mets team that's in the playoff race. I say they sneak in and get in over the Braves.
So Austin Adams has become the new Grimace, the new rally cry.
He's
for
not
the
as
Mets.
pretty. He's not as colorful. He's not as pretty. His beard is not as good as that belly of Grimace. He's not as good as a free fry when you get a large soda. He's worth a dollar soda. That's what he is. He's a bargain bin reliever.
After this, you and Austin Adams are going to have to go to coupling counseling, bro, because there's something deep within there. All right, thoughts for Game 2 of the series Wednesday night. You called it a must-win.
Yeah, I hate to use the word must win, but you can't lose a series to Oakland. And, it's frustrating because Tuesday was a nice crowd. Tickets have been cheap. The Mets have pretty much given away. It's like buy one, get one, on the secondary sites that I got in for $4. You get it for $4. I mean, you're talking about Grimace. A 20-piece nugget costs more than a ticket this week. And people are still going. Like, Tuesday was a nice crowd. And you want there to be good crowds going to the weekend. They get swept by Oakland. It might be quiet this weekend. I think people are trying to buy into this hype and buy into this playoff push. But losing a series to Oakland dooms that. They're going to win tonight. They're going to win Thursday afternoon, going to the weekend riding high. I think they're going to sweep Miami. I think they're going to go into that Baltimore series, winning 2 out of 3 and sweeping Miami and setting up for a really big series against a first place, right on the edge of first place Baltimore team. So I'll go the positive route and say the Mets win this Oakland series.
All right, big one going down in Queens tonight. Jake, tell the people they can find you, my man.
Yeah, the Sick Podcast, Mets Magic on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe or wherever you get podcasts at Sick Pod Mets. And follow me at Jake Brown Radio for all your Mets and food review content. Wherever I go, I seem to just whip out a phone. I didn't have the microphone plugged in right last night, so I had to do 2 takes of grilled octopus and shrimp. But the more octopus and shrimp, the better.